A local group is focused on helping and healing Hoosiers who need a hand right now. Hope Project Indianapolis helps with job placement. They also offer counseling and other resources to help people get back on their feet. WRTV's Troy Washington shows us where the helping and healing is done and how it all works.
Even during the pandemic, the Hope Project is busy changing lives and giving Hoosiers a fresh start, giving them access to resources to update their resume to land that new job. The Hope Project is giving a hand up to Hoosiers who may need resources, support, and guidance. And everything here is free, making it a no excuses zone.
Here at the Hope Project, if an individual needs counseling, certified free counseling, we provide that for them because with the pandemic, a lot of people have fallen into depression, anxiety, the mental state. So we provide that counseling for free. And then after their counseling, if they need clothing, if someone is struggling with attire for an interview, if they're struggling purchasing clothing and shoes for their children, we have the Hope Boutique that's upstairs. You just send us a message, tell us your sizes, we will make an appointment for you, take you up there and get you whatever you like.
Hoosiers can sit right here on this couch and start the healing process while getting the help they need to embrace hope. Working for you, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
And the Hope Project is having a citywide baby shower to support local expectant mothers. We have all the details on how you can get in on that event when you read this story on WRTV.com.
Now, this traffic alert, a major lane shift begins tonight on Interstate 70 east of the North Split. It's for the next phase of the $350 million reconstruction project on Indiana's second busiest interchange. INDOT says the two inside lanes of I-70 eastbound will cross over onto what is currently I-70 westbound for about a mile. The configuration will last until July. INDOT expects the North Split will close for 18 months beginning May 22nd.
Well, it has happened again. The nation's third mass shooting in just over 2 weeks. There is something a little different about this incident. That's still ahead on WRTV.
Studio at Value City Furniture.
Another mass casualty shooting in this country, this time in Southern California. A 9-year-old boy is among 4 people killed last night in a shooting at an office building in Orange County, California. A 5th victim is in critical condition at a hospital. That woman is believed to be the young boy's mother. The gunman suffered a gunshot wound and is now in critical condition. Authorities say this was not a random spree.
This appears to be an isolated incident, and we believe everyone knew each other, whether through a business or personal relationship.
Police arrived at the 2-story structure as shots were being fired. The gunman had locked the courtyard gate behind him and opened fire into the windows of the building. Officers forced their way in and found the shooter. Police found a semi-automatic handgun and a backpack containing pepper spray, handcuffs, and ammunition, which they believe belonged to the suspect. The violence in Orange is the nation's third mass shooting in just over 2 weeks, coming on the heels of 8 people being shot and killed at spas around Atlanta and 10 people killed in a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. Those gunmen in those sprees did not know any of the victims.
More testimony today in the trial of the former Minneapolis police officer accused of murdering George Floyd. This time from people who arrived on the scene to try and save Floyd's life. Court TV's Janley Painter takes us to the courtroom.
Day 4 in the Derek Chauvin murder trial, and we're hearing from paramedics who first responded to the Cup Foods on Memorial Day 2020. Paramedic Seth Braviter said that when he and his partner arrived at the Cup Foods, George Floyd was unresponsive.
I asked, is he in cardiac arrest? And he said, I think so.
So, you use the word cardiac arrest. What does that mean?
It's the term we're going to use for anybody that's not responsive, not breathing, and doesn't have a pulse currently.
Okay. So, essentially, does that mean that someone's heart is stopped?
Yeah.
Earlier today, we heard tearful testimony from the girlfriend of George Floyd, Courtney Ross. She described her relationship with Floyd and testified that she and Floyd, in their nearly 3-year relationship, both struggled from opioid addiction.
After the prescriptions that were filled and we got addicted and tried really hard to break that addiction many times.
Chauvin faces up to 40 years if convicted of the top count of second-degree murder. In downtown Minneapolis, I'm Chanley Painter with Court TV.
To watch live all-day coverage of this trial, keep a tab open at courttv.com, where you can watch the trial unfold in real time.
Well, we told you about it yesterday. You might have thought it was an April Fool's joke, but no. Snow across central Indiana. For some, it was a vision test. Others, quite obvious. Let's take a look in Randolph County in eastern Indiana, in farmland. And you can see the cover of snow. Amy Davis sharing these pictures from overnight and early morning snow. And that will melt quickly as we move forward. If you think it's unacceptable for snow in April, just know that it's common. 7 out of the last 10 years, we've had a trace or more of snow. To the radar, from Muncie to Newcastle to Richmond and Connorsville, we have the showers, snow showers, and flurries continuing right off of Lake Michigan. Notice how we're divided. Western Indiana, more sunshine. The eastern portion of the state, because of the trajectory off of the lake, has the clouds and snow showers. Couple of breaks visible as we look north with our Weather Now camera. 37 in Indianapolis, 40 in Bloomington. Temperatures consistently a few degrees warmer in the western portion of the state. Ellie and Lincoln, I think, are content to just stay inside and forego a walk here for a little bit. Those are their puppy pictures on the bottom there, and there they are as resting adults, just enjoying the indoors right now. Let's stay and watch the news, guys. Temperatures down to 30 by 11 o'clock tonight. The wind is going to calm down. That is part of what has to happen for the coldest temperatures to reach the ground to lower the overall threshold for the wind. That will happen. Watch how quickly skies clear over eastern portions of the state by 11 o'clock. Here's where we land tomorrow morning. Upper teens to around 20 degrees. The record for Indianapolis set in 1961, 20 degrees, and you can see we're calling for at least tying that record. Tomorrow, sunshine to the rescue. Temperatures will respond to the sunshine, but will still be in the 40s for afternoon highs, 49. The wind not nearly as strong, generally north, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll hop into the weekend with temperatures at 60 Saturday, Sunday, 68 for the high temperature. As you look at the 7-day forecast, you'll notice the next 4 days, temperatures will be warming each day. We'll continue to see temperatures in the 70s Monday through Wednesday. Our next real chance for rain comes as we get to Tuesday, but then I think a little better chance on Wednesday and Thursday. Warmer days ahead after tomorrow morning. Mark?
Warmer days ahead. Thank you, Kevin. It's a beautiful sight with an important message about the uglier aspect of life for some kids. Ahead, how a group is planting pinwheels to grow awareness about child abuse.
Right now.
Today kicks off Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month, and advocates planted blue pinwheels across central Indiana, including at the Hendricks County Courthouse. The pinwheels represent the lives of children and how they need action to move and thrive. Organizers say they remind people to report abuse and neglect.
Pinwheel is a symbol, it's the national symbol, and it is supposed to really bring forth the idea of happiness, kind of the whimsy, joyful childhood that all children deserve. And it reminds us all as citizens that we have a part to play in that. And so there are things that we can do to support children and families in our communities every day to ensure that every child has a happy, healthy childhood.
Pinwheels will also be planted at the government center and schools. You can do your part by wearing blue during the month of April or by reporting suspected abuse to the state hotline at 1-800-800-5556.
It's opening day for a new cafe in the Butler-Tarkington neighborhood. It is the second Tease Me location, managed by Hall of Fame basketball player and current general manager for the Indiana Fever, Tamika Catchings. She says that she plans to hire youth from the community and bring her programming to Tarkington Park through her foundation called Catch the Stars. Several years ago, $6 million of investments were made for improvements to the park. The Parks Alliance of Indianapolis says with that investment, it's important to sustain programming and community engagement.
I think it does change the aspect of a neighborhood. I know like certain neighborhoods, people aren't really that connected, especially like during COVID. So for this to open up, I think it really like helps people branch out and meet new people and just to feel comfortable within their own neighborhood. And I think that's really important.
This Saturday, April 3rd, Attorney Time celebration will be held from noon to 3 at Tease Me Cafe and Tarkington Park. There will be a free basketball clinic and Easter egg hunt to introduce the cafe to the community. Good to see. WRTV Investigates has obtained new police body camera video, and what it shows is leading to questions about possible excessive force. Only on the news at 6, we take this video to an expert, why he says this footage concerns him, and what we're finding out about the officers involved.
And still to come at 5:30, they served our country and now they need help. We will show you how community hopes an effort to find homes for veterans will spread across the state.
Say insulation.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5:30, streaming now.
Now at 5:30, Hoosier veterans facing their most challenging battle, finding a place to live. We'll show you how one group is working on their behalf. And this is a live look from the IMS Pagoda Cam. Right now, the Speedway is on the first day of a COVID-19 mass vaccination blitz. It will take place over 16 days, but remember, you have to register and the slots are filling up fast.
Topping our lineup, COVID vaccines are becoming more available, but the question is, how long do they last? There's a new tool that could help answer that. And many of us have been turning to the web for a vaccine appointment, but navigating those sites, they can be tricky. The added struggles for people who are visually impaired. Now, demand for home health aides is at an all-time high, but it comes with some new risks. How the government could help.
In Indiana, there are hundreds of veterans that are experiencing homelessness. The most recent data shows more than 500 veterans don't have a place to call home in the Hoosier state. But there is work being done every day to help. Our Nicole Griffin takes us to Howard County tonight, where organizations in the area are working together to make sure our veterans have roofs over their heads.
It saved my life. I was living in a homeless shelter, and it was awful.
John Flesh served in the U.S. Army from 1986 to 2001. Recently, he lost his job and ended up in a homeless shelter in Logansport.
The manager of the facility, she suggested this place in Kokomo, Indiana called Jackson Street Commons.
Jackson Street Commons provides permanent supportive housing to veterans who are disabled and experiencing homelessness.
People become homeless for reasons, and so often they have barriers, such as mental health or addiction issues. And so we provide that stable housing plus supportive services.
All 27 one-bedroom apartments at Jackson Street Commons are full, providing veterans a safe place where they can also get resources.
The hope is that when our veterans come to us, that they will work on the barriers that led to their homelessness and move on into other housing.
The program is part of the Family Services Association of Howard County, which is just one organization in Region 5, which includes Cass, Miami, Wabash, Howard, and Tipton counties, working to find veterans homes. The region was just recognized by several federal agencies, including the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, for the work they are doing to help end homelessness for veterans.
That doesn't mean that there aren't still veterans that are in need of residency or other additional services. It's just that with the great collaboration that we have among the agencies and municipalities, both city and county, that we've provided the necessary resources they need to effectively do so.
Providing shelter immediately, transitional housing, and helping with permanent housing, as well as resources, are all requirements laid out in the benchmarks for ending veteran homelessness by the government. Region 5 is the first region in Indiana to be recognized for this work.
And the work is not done. We work well together, but our goal is to keep working well together.
Meanwhile, for John, the help he has received means everything.
My survival, the people in Indiana are just wonderful.
Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
It's not snow, it's not sleet, it is Graupel. At least that's what fell on my patio table earlier today. But that's one of those precip types we don't talk about a whole lot. So what is Graupel? Well, it starts off in the cloud as that snow forms, but then what happens is that snowflake falls through a layer of air that's below 32 degrees with some water drops there. So those water drops freeze on the snowflake, and then it creates what looks like a hailstone there, but it is just that pellet of snow that's kind of wrapped up in a little little ball there. All right, well, we've got a few flurries. Those continue around Muncie into Rushville, but you can see the northern extent of that kind of shutting down for us with temperatures that remain cold and that breeze out of the north around 15 to 20 miles per hour for us. Numbers will fall to around 30 by 11 o'clock with a few of those flurries coming to an end. We'll talk warming trend in just a few minutes. Chris?
We have some more positive news when it comes to vaccines and how well they work. Pfizer said today that new data from people involved in its phase 3 trial, well, they show they still had high levels of protection 6 months after their second dose. That does offer some relief when it comes to variants as well if vaccines stay effective over long periods of time. Now, today's information allows Pfizer to request full license from the FDA. They also do plan to have their data looked into further. Now, while the White House ramps up vaccine distribution, they're also investing in efforts to encourage Americans to get the shot. The Department of Health and Human Services is spending $10 million on TV ads targeting vaccine hesitancy. Now, a couple of the spots are aimed directly at people of color who have been most impacted and may be most hesitant. Meanwhile, some COVID survivors of notoriety are sharing their experiences to encourage others to get vaccinated.
The thing I'd like to emphasize the most is just how random this virus is. Random in how you get it, and then random in how it affects you, despite whatever you've read or heard.
You may remember that former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie got COVID despite daily testing at the White House last year. He was in the ICU for a week, and he has since gotten both doses of the Moderna vaccine, but his experience does not stop there.
Just recently, I have two 62-year-old cousins, one of whom was a longshoreman, active longshoreman working on the docks in New Jersey. They both got COVID, and within 6 days of each other, they both died. And so there was no reason, no previous health problems. You would not have thought that these people would have died from this disease, but they both did, and left their only child.
Through the Infectious Disease Society of America, Christie shared information on the vaccine development process and has encouraged Americans to have conversations with trusted healthcare providers.
So yes, this happened quickly, but it happened safely because the government cut the red tape to be able to develop this and put significant money behind it to make it go faster. But it didn't cut any corners in terms of the scientific evidence that we have. 4 times more people participate in those trials than for other prescription drugs that I'm sure people in your audience are taking right now.
Christie also said he experienced long-term fatigue after surviving COVID and still gets tired more easily than he used to. Still ahead in our lineup, as the rush is on to get more people vaccinated, there's also talk about just how soon we'll need booster shots. Well, it'll be different for everyone. We'll talk a little bit about the test that's in the works right now that could give you some answers. Just how long will the coronavirus vaccine protect us from the virus? Maya Rodriguez spoke to developers of a test that is looking to provide some answers.
More than 50 million people in the country are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Most of America is already speeding towards normalcy.
But one question is emerging. How long will the vaccines remain effective in protecting the human body against the coronavirus?
It's obviously a new virus here on the planet, and relatively speaking, and I don't think people know everything about it yet.
John Hugh Muller is with Axim Biotechnologies, a company that just developed ImmunoPass, a new test now undergoing FDA emergency approval. It determines how many neutralizing antibodies a person has against COVID-19.
The end point of all vaccines is to create as many neutralizing antibodies. So these neutralizing antibodies will actually attach to the spike protein on the virus. And that stops the virus from then attaching to your ACE2 protein in your body, which is how it gets into your body to begin with.
But over time, those neutralizing antibodies begin to diminish. When a booster shot might be needed is unclear. ImmunoPass checks antibody levels in a few drops of blood within 10 minutes.
Everybody is different, and whether or not the vaccine will last for 6 months, 9 months, a year, nobody knows at this point because it's too early. But with our test, you're actually able to monitor your neutralizing antibodies.
Testing for those neutralizing antibodies will become critical across the globe as more people get vaccinated, because experts say COVID-19 is likely to circulate around the world for years to come. If approved, the test would first be administered by medical professionals before potentially moving to over-the-counter.
This virus is going to stick around, which, a lot of people think it's going to be here for the rest of our lives, and you do need that annual shot, kind of like the flu shot. Then we hope to be able to have the test that can tell you when that is. Because again, everybody's different.
But all facing the same COVID threat. I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Maya, thank you. And next in our lineup, being visually impaired can be difficult enough. The added challenges it is creating to getting a vaccine appointment.
5:55 to get started.
Many of us have struggled to navigate vaccination websites. Now imagine trying to get a vaccine appointment if you're blind or visually impaired. Chris Conti shows us the efforts underway to make sure they are not forgotten.
Kyle Robideau is on a mission, even if it's hard to see exactly what he's fighting for.
The lack of familiarity definitely increases the anxiety.
Kyle is 45 years old. He first started losing his vision when he was 11. And as the pandemic rages on, he's making sure others who are visually impaired aren't being forgotten about in this nation's vaccination campaign.
It's just a certain level of discomfort of not knowing exactly where I am.
We asked Kyle to meet us at a vaccination clinic. When he first tried getting here, Kyle's Uber dropped him off a half-mile away. It took him 30 minutes to get to the right location.
Once I know that what it is, then it's certainly helpful in what direction I need to go in.
As we quickly learned, every detail matters for Kyle. These rope lines meant to control crowds can be confusing.
I think it's great to have volunteers or staff outside the building.
A little nervous? Don't be nervous. Details matter too once inside. Kyle recommended this vaccination site spread out their vaccine stations to allow for more room so someone with a walking cane can get by. He also told officials they needed more light.
For folks who have some usable vision, trying to increase that lighting.
Even just eliminating one hurdle can make all the difference for someone who's blind or visually impaired.
Just confirm this is the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine you've ever received?
That is correct. Something as simple as choosing the right sign colors can make a difference.
For folks like me who have some usable vision, that increases the chance that I'm actually going to be able to see that sign if it has good contrast.
About 12 million people in the United States have some form of vision impairment. Nearly 1 million of them are blind. Vision disability is one of the top 10 disabilities among adults age 18 years and older.
We've really crafted the workflow.
Manny Lopes oversees the healthcare nonprofit which opened this vaccine site.
We really tackle this one person at a time, and whatever resources that person needs to make sure that they get this vaccine, we want to make sure that we're providing.
It's not just vaccination sites that can be difficult to navigate. Those vaccine websites that have created frustration nationwide are often designed without the visually impaired in mind.
This work in particular is really important that it's open to all and there are no barriers to receiving the vaccine.
Beautiful. In the fight to get this country vaccinated, Kyle Robideau is making sure every person gets seen. I'm Chris Conti.
Chris, thank you. How about this? Imagine wearing a mask and your glasses not fogging up, or a mask not causing any sort of skin problems. Well, the search for answers starts the news feed. The Biden administration just started a $500,000 contest to find answers to mask struggles. You have until April 21st to submit your ideas to the Mask Innovation Challenge. Well, we'll always remember the great toilet paper shortage of this pandemic, but now expect to pay more. Toilet paper makers say they're going to boost prices this summer. They say prices are rising in what it takes to make toilet paper, which is to blame for this. Now, while there is hope that the economy will rebound this year, there are new numbers that say 719,000 people filed for unemployment benefits just last week. The Labor Department says they're seeing companies cut jobs, even though